Just sitting in the Series 3, having a red wine, as a bloke does. Loves to sit in his Jags, especially when the new ones come along. And sort of have a bit of look at this while we're there. It's a shame the timber has gone off, but it's a bit patinaed. That sort of doesn't bother me. It'll be a job that I would do later. I'll do some contact adhesive on that little bit. Radio doesn't work. I've been pushing every bloody button, so it's going to either come out to see I've got power to it, and the reason being, I can patch that little patch up there. I'm just going to fill that for the time being and spray it with some vinyl paint. And it won't be a perfect job, but we'll try and find another crash pad for it later. It's good environment in here. You've still got the smell of leather, the wood. It's dry. Loving it. Everything seems to be working. Lights all work, except for the radio. The air conditioning we can charge up. Apparently these steering wheels are a bit sought after, the big fat ones. Didn't know that. So if you've got one of them, boys, they're worth a lot of money. This one's just staying here for the time being. Horn go. Oh, horn goes. Yeah, pretty good. Loving it. All the door cards are pretty schmick. The one behind me on my right there, it's got a little bit of a warp from water damage, but we can look at that later. But 90% all good. It's a pretty original car. Besides all the leaves and that in there, there's no rust. It'll clean up lovely. I mean, you've got to think about these things. This thing was a $200,000 car back in 1988. Correct me if I'm wrong. Close about. And not everyone could afford one of these. And we believe it might have been someone from Qantas, a CEO or perhaps a Qantas captain. All this back section is super good paint. And I don't have to touch any of this rear quarter or the boot. It makes me think, has it been painted before? It could be, because it's the best part of the paint. And the bonnet's good, and the two back doors are good. The rest of the panels will need a paint and rust repairs. But that's without a polish, guys. It's looking pretty schmicky. And I cleaned all in there. How nice does that look now? Oop, Mr. Ant. I'm starting to really love the colour of this car, Antelope. Well, she's off to Dr. Jag to get some real money spent on her. Get some things done. We'll get those rack bushes done. He'll give it a tune, give it a service, do the oils, do all the coolants, all the fluids. What else he'll do? Oh, he'll clean all that valley, maybe plugs, and clean the distributor and get all that advanced timing mechanism working nice and smoothly. So we can get this thing on the road and get it nice and reliable. Seems this thing's been on the back of tow trucks more than it's been on the road in the last 8 years. Well, hi all, we're off to Dr. Jag to pick up the Series 3 V12. We thought we'd be driving it home, but we've got the trailer on the back and we have to pick it up. She's not fully going. So we'll be a half an hour getting up there and we'll see what's wrong and why we weren't able to drive it home. So we'll catch you soon. Well, we made it up to Dr. Jag, pick up that car. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
G'day, Brett. What have you got for me today?
Yeah, well, I've got to pick up that Series 3.
Okay.
You got anything exciting in the garage we can have a look at today?
Well, just let's go through and have a quick look.
Thanks, mate.
There's
Cheers.
a few cars in there.
Yes.
So I've got an extra hour in the hoist.
Oh, yes.
Got diff problems.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
What, they got a Salisbury diff in them? What are they?
if you have a look over here on the bench,
Right.
that's the diff out of it.
Okay. What it was?
Diff, just going to drain it and refill it.
Right.
Put it in.
Okay, and what, was it just noisy or clunky or?
One in the car is noisy.
Yeah.
So this is a good second handy.
Yeah, okay, I didn't think they had too much problems with the diffs on those things, but I guess with all that.
The V8 diffs are
Yeah.
not as strong as the straight 6 diffs.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually have heard that before.
Yeah. In an effort to keep the production costs down, Ford were in control then, and they said, look, let's save a bit of money on the diff.
Right.
And it's also, they're all open diffs because the ABS and traction would look after wheel spin.
Yes, okay. And we got a,
Yeah, they're a different diff to the previous model.
okay, and a nice
Beautiful.
Daimler, little V8 again, another 2.5 litre.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't make a lot of these, but they seem to crop up everywhere. I see them all the time. Like Bruce has got a lovely one. I did a little bit of a.
Look, it's the sort of car you want to save, definitely.
Oh, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a sweet runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one, being a Daimler, it's got the power steering on it, which makes the world of difference.
Oh, really? So the Mark II and the Daimlers always had power steering?
Mark II's didn't.
Yeah,
Daimlers
yeah. I
Or at
didn't
least
know
there's an
that.
option on Daimler where most people tick that option.
That's amazing. I just didn't think you had to use the 420
There's a big
rack and thing in it. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's the same cross member as the 420, but it looks like the same box as the 420.
Okay. Good. So we're probably going to get this car loaded up on the trailer.
Yeah, I don't. So there, the rear pads I pulled out, burnt out. Handbrake pads, delaminated. That is a quarter of what's in one tank. So
And we've got the car on the trailer. We'll just get some chains on it and we'll head back home. Well, she's on the trailer ready to go back. She's not even really firing up properly. She's not getting fuel. I don't know how I'm going to get this thing off the trailer, but we'll just worry about that when we get her home. She's been on more trailers and tilt trays than God knows what Jag has. Well, we got her home in no problems. Only thing is, she's not going, and I've got to get this thing off the trailer. The reason it's not going is that fuel pump gets blocked up with rust. Greg's drained it a couple of times to get the rust out of that left-hand tank, and I've just drained it again, and there's just more rust in there. Like, not just a little bit of rust, a lot of rust. I just wonder if the right tank is the same. So before we put some fuel back in, and I'm going to take that fuel filter out and just blow it clean. Also might just clean the pump out again and make sure it's not blocked up with sediment. Okay, just to get this thing off the trailer, I've hooked up a temporary fuel tank up to the line of the fuel pump. I've cleaned out the fuel filter and I've run the fuel pump a few times to get some crap out if it's got any. We'll clean the other tanks up a bit more. The right tank's not nearly as rusty as the left, but because of this changeover valve, it's not letting the fuel come through. I don't want to have to take that hose off again and fuel runs everywhere. So we use this little tank to just get this thing off the trailer, see if we can get it started. Okay, we'll just prime her up a few times to fill up that filter. Okay. Couple more primes. I can hear that fuel filter still making a bit of a whine, so I think it's got dirt still in it. We're losing battery power. Yeah. Okay, got her started. She's running pretty rough, but at least she's sucking fuel, so we'll line this trailer up and get it off. Well, she's off the trailer. There's shoveling cars around. We'll put Miss Daisy in first, then the antilopey thing, and we'll follow in with the Ken. Maybe Ken's going back to Sydney tomorrow, so maybe it'll stay outside for the night. We'll just work on what we're going to do there. Oh, finally got it in the garage. Sparkles a bit in the garage, doesn't it? That bonnet sparkles up a bit. Anyway, we know the problems with it. Look at that. We have to, here we go. No, we don't. I thought they were going to patch up my holes. This is what we got to put up in this. Our council.
Yep. Central Coast Council. Just hopeless. Anyway, back to the car. What we got to do is, that changeover valve is not working. And the one behind the left-hand wheel is also not working because of, even if I put my temporary tank in, the fuel will run back in the left-hand tank. And so I'm just going to drain the fuel that's gone in there in the last 5 minutes while I was trying to get this thing into the garage. See how much more rust comes out of it. So next jobs will be, I've taken the temporary tank out and I've put all the hoses back to normal. I've drained both fuel tanks and they're now both completely empty. We'll try and wash those tanks out again. So the left tank's a lot worse than the right tank. It will probably definitely need be replacing or have a poor 15 liner or something put in it, but it has to be removed for that. So I'll pull off those changeover valves and get some new ones of those, or see if I can repair the existing. Sometimes it's just locked up with dirt and you clean them up and they work well. Just check out this bus going through this poor section here of our road. Oh, I'm just making it bigger. Yeah, where was I? So, changeover valves, I'll get them fixed up. I'll pull out the whole three of them, clean them all up. We'll clean out that right tank and left tank and see if the changeover valves are working correctly. Test it all. I'm going to get the pressure washer and give it a good blast. We'll take out the drain cap, and we'll also take out the fuel sender unit, which is behind that light. We'll remove the top and we'll whack a camera down it and just have a look and see what it looks like in its current condition, and then we'll give it a wash and let it dry out and see how good it becomes. So I did try to throw the endoscope down the hole there to see if we can see what it looks like, just for some shits and giggles. But it wouldn't go down because of the flappy bit there that restricts it. So I tried to get these flat blade screws off. They're really, really tight. And I've got three of them moving. This one there's really, really tight. But we'll get it off eventually. I've sprayed it with some spray. This little capture I took with the endoscope's not indicative of what's really in the tank, because it was only on the top portion. It looks bad in the photo, but it was right up really close. So a bit of work to do, but and it won't happen straight away because I'm heading down to Tasmania on a 13-day motorcycle enduro. So these guys are going to just stay nice and cozy in here for a couple of weeks, which is I need to walk away from. Big day today. Okay, I've had a shower. Big day, boys, and just cracked a wine. Yeah, getting that car from Greg's, that wasn't the plan. The plan was to drive it home, and that didn't happen. Greg started it, did the brakes, did the handbrakes, did those neoprene bushes that were in the front sway bar bushes. They weren't the rack bushes, so that helped me a fair bit in dollar terms. That was easy. And then he was going to go into the engine and just check all that distributor stuff and make sure she's running smooth. But he took it for a test run and it broke down because it clogged up with rust into the fuel system. So he worked on it a bit, changed the fuel out of the tanks for a while and just mucked around with it, then got the pretty much shits with it and said, Brett, I'm charging for stuff that you can do. You're better off to take it home. It's in the naughty corner. I'm not going to work on it anymore. Okay, so we got it back in the garage. I got to work on it. Anyway, thanks for guys for watching. Give your thumbs up if you like the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps my channel a lot. Catch you next episode. Cheers, guys.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. but I've known you too long. It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything.